Welcome to Aquaria PhD, our YouTube channel. So today I'm going to show you how to use Cohesion, which is a 100% organic natural substrate, nutrient-rich base. It is designed for thriving aquatic plants, especially with the more rare plants that we get today that are more demanding on nutrients. Here in South Africa, I think it is a bit costly to constantly feed our plants nutrients which they need. Obviously, with our terrestrial plants, it's far easier buying a pack of fertilizer, throwing it in the ground, making sure they have enough water, depending on their sunlight needs and whatnot. You know, it's very similar in the aquatic world. And so when this product was designed, it was designed with all of this in mind. It's also designed to ensure that the water column itself is fed. So any plants such as your rhizome plants, whether it is Java fern, Java moss, and an entire plethora of other plants that we could actually use in this sense. This substrate Cohesion ensures that we get the best that we possibly can. It comes in a 1 kg pack. And as you can see, I have a tank that's ready to go for me to show you, to demonstrate to you exactly how I'm going to do this. The thing about why it's only a 1 kg pack is because of its potency. It's been tested for the last 7 years, and so far it has actually lasted in one tank complete 5 years. It has grown plants to the point where I actually find it difficult to stop growing the plants, or to slow them down. I've never actually changed it out. I haven't had the need to. And it is one of the reasons why I feel that it's at the perfect price point. It's only 60 rands. For a tank this size, a 2-foot tank, I would recommend anything between 2 bags to 4 bags. 4 bags. That is also dependent on how much of plants you actually have in there. Whether your plants need high nutrient levels or lower nutrient levels, how much lighting you're actually going to put in. There are many factors in which we're going to consider how we're going to use Cohesion. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I am merely going to show you the basics in ensuring that it is actually put properly at the bottom. You don't want any anabolic bacteria. You don't want any air bubbles, which is what causes anabolic bacteria. And that could rot roots, could obviously, which then damages the plant itself. So your heavy root feeders, generally where you want to put the most Cohesion, you know, you could so you could have it going at different heights, different angles, and getting straight into it. This is basically what it looks like. As mentioned, it is a natural soil. It's extremely fine. It does clump up a bit because it does need its moisture. And the idea is to basically spread it in. Now, not all of us have the same tools, but I am rather thankful that I do have the necessary tools to work with. Okay. So I'm just gonna basically spread it out as much as I can. Mostly looking for a 1 to 2 centimeter height. Actually, I would recommend a 2 centimeter. Again, this is a 2-foot tank, so I do want to heavily plant it eventually, and I'm going to be using quite rare plants as well that are heavy feeders, both root and water column. So in this instance, I am most definitely going to put a 1 centimeter So as you can see, it does actually clump up, which is perfectly fine. It just needs to be pressed down a bit. And once that part is done, the most important next step would be to ensure that the cohesion itself is wet way before you start to do anything else. So in my case, I'm actually glad that I have, I don't even know what these things are called. Oh, it's a pressure sprayer, that's it. So I'm going to use my pressure sprayer, and I'm going to get as much water as I can. So yes, I'm going to lightly drizzle all around it. And just as a sidebar, many of my customers that have used it continue to rave about how brilliantly it does work. That's number one. Number two is they've also come up with their own ways. Out of enthusiasm, they have found different ways in which they can use it that work better for them. Some people actually like to take out all of their substrate now and then, which is perfectly fine. So I would recommend using something like cotton wool and getting the cohesion inside of it. Once the cohesion is in it, you can just tie that up. It will still release into the water column. It will still allow itself to fertilize your plants, and if roots get into that, they're much easier to take out and clean. As you can see, I'm getting it as wet as I can without making it too wet. And from that point on, I'm going to need to stamp it down. There are obviously various ways in which you can stamp them down. I could use a container such as this, just get my hand in it and ensure that it's as flat as possible. And this allows all of the air that might be trapped inside to come off. Now, just in case you're wondering why I'm not going all the way to the back there, it's because my weir is not fixed in yet. I am going to fix that in and then complete this part of the video, or that part of the video, as a second video. For now, like I said, this is just to demonstrate its usage. Now, that's one way of doing it. The other way was just using my scoop and flattening it down. That way, it's much easier to get to the corners like this. Another thing to bear in mind is to ensure that before entering any fish, you have fully cycled the tank, that you ensure that all of your water changes are done frequently. You check your pH, DH, KH, TDS, most importantly, because you don't want that to affect your fish, most certainly not. Once this is settled and correctly acclimated to the environment of your aquarium, you will most definitely be able to add even the most sensitive fish. I tried this with fish such as discus. I've tried it with things such as shrimp, ghost shrimp, whether a cherry shrimp as well. It seems to work beautifully. It doesn't seem to affect them in any way, shape, or form, and I love that about it. So once that part is done, I'm just going to give it another quick spray. The lighter the spray, the better. I'm going to do this as slow as possible, even though it's still a pretty fast process. So we're going to do it as slow as possible and ensure that there's the most water possible. you can start planting immediately after you've capped it. So that's the next actually important part about this, is that it does require a soil cap. In this case, you know, something like that. Depending on your taste as well. I like a natural look, so this color actually works for me, because once things settle in, it does actually look like a riverbed. And this is actually our scape bed, if I'm not mistaken, and we have the riverbed look-alike as well. We also have the black crystal sand, which is my favorite. It's also my favorite for detailing. As you can see, this is an inert sand completely, which can be used to cap this as well. Just to say this again, I'm not going to be capping this right now, and that is mostly just because I need to sort the weir out. Oh, you can't see that actually. There. Completely out. Once you've got that done, once you've ensured that all of your air bubbles are out, you're going to cap it probably, I would say, 3 to 4 centimeters high. Rooted plants can go directly in, and obviously other plants such as your Nubius, your Java fern, your Java moss can be attached to wood, it can be attached to rocks, and many other ways that it can be done. So that is basically how we use cohesion, and all of the benefits of cohesion, all of the nutrient levels of cohesion are listed on our website at aquariaphd.co.za.